Thank you, Reb Chaim, for the hesped. Reb Chaim is my Rebbe for 42 years. And he's the reason why I'm here tonight and why I have shaykhs to Breslov. And the second reason is Gita's cake that I would go for every Motzei Shabbos when there was just a few of us coming to listen to Rabbi Rosenfeld and Alav Hashalom's tapes. My real reason for coming was the cake, but I really started enjoying the tapes too. If I could trouble you just to turn your cell phones on vibrate out of respect to those who are trying to fall asleep. I remember one of those Motzei Shabbos listening to the tape from Rabbi Rosenfeld, and he asked a question: what would you call an Aveira? So he answered, there's 365 don't do's in the Torah. Then he asked a different question: what would you call an Aveira Gedola, a very big violation against the Torah? So maybe one clue would be, let's find out which Aveiras, which violations in the Torah carry the greatest and most severe consequences. Skila, different types of Mises based in, death penalties. And then he asked the question in reverse: what would you call a mitzvah gedola, a huge mitzvah? And that's when he launched into the short words of Rabbeinu Zal, mitzvah gedola liyos b'simcha. And it really puts it in context. I will never forget when Rabbi Rosenfeld was suffering from cancer of the throat, and his daughter Gita at one point shared with him the pain she was experiencing from listening to the cries of pain that he had at night. And he said to his daughter, don't think for a minute that I'm not besimcha. One has nothing to do with the other. And I want to share with you why I think Rabbeinu Zal enables a human being, for sure a Jew, to get out of one of the greatest misunderstandings in human history. That what happens to us is not real. What we think and how we create the world in our mind, that is real to us, but it's still not real. It's only my thinking that makes it real. Oh! Sorry, I thought that was a real spider, but it turns out to be a fake one. I beg your pardon. You know, if there would be a spider crawling up my shoulder and I have fear from it, and then I discover it's fake. So what caused me to have fear? What triggered the emotion of fear? Was it the spider or the fact that I thought it was real? And then I noticed, oh, it's a fake spider again. Oh my gosh, that's a real one. And I thought it was just my brother playing some sort of prank. And it turns out now I freak out that it's a real spider. It's not the spider, whether it's real or not, that makes the difference. It's what am I telling myself? Rabbeinu Zal tells us in a famous Torah, a very short Torah, Nun in Tinyana, that it's impossible, it's impossible for Shnei Machshavos, for two thoughts biyachad to exist together. It's impossible. That one line is extremely revealing. It's impossible for a person to have two thoughts simultaneously. So if I'm thinking fear or anxiety, and that's what's causing me to feel anxiety or fear, that's a thought. Comes along Rabbeinu Zal and reveals, you and I live one thought at a time. And because no two thoughts can exist simultaneously, I'm only ever one thought away from choosing a different thought. Mitzvah Gedola liyos besimcha. We'll get to Tamid in a few moments. It's a huge mitzvah to be besimcha. Where does simcha take place? My pinky, my elbow, my kneecap? Where does it take place? So the Arizal famously tells us the exact letters, besimcha, which means the state of being happy now, shares the same letters as machshava. Machshava translates correctly as thought. Oh, so happiness is a choice. What an extraordinarily simple statement, and yet how profound. Do you mean to say that a person could be barren 90 years, kidnapped not once but twice, take on a co-wife? Ladies, you think that's a good idea? Sarah Imenu took on a co-wife, and she suffered from Yishmael, barren 90 years, and yet at the end of her life, if you asked, I'll translate myself, if you asked Sarah Imenu, can you please tell us in one line a summary of your entire life? And Chazal, Rashi quoting Medrash Rabbah, says on the words, Vayiyu shnei chayei Sarah, 100 shana v'esrim shana v'sheva shanim, shnei chayei Sarah. Rashi pounces, quoting Medrash Rabbah, on the repetition. You start the pasuk telling me you're talking about her life, and then you end off telling me shnei chayei Sarah. You just told me you're going to talk about her life. And answers the Medrash, it makes no difference which clip you take of Sarah Imenu's life. Barren, 90 years, every month. It's not this month. Next month. 12 months. For 90 years. Kidnapped twice. Goes through almost all the nisyonis of Avram Avinu. And what's her answer to the question? What's the summary of your life? Kulan. How much is Kulan? 95%? To hear 96, 97 in the corner of that? No. Kulan is 100%. Kulan. All the years of my life. Kulan shavin. L'taiva. They're all equally good. Sarah Imenu, how could you say that? And she'll say in response, oh, I see you misunderstand. You're reading the events in my life, what happened to me, and I'm reading back to you what I was thinking. I'm just coming closer to Hashem each month. I have to daven more. How many people have I reached to bring Tachas Kanfi Ashkina under the wings of a Kadosh Baruch Hu? Oh, we live in our minds. We live in our thoughts. We live nowhere else. No other reality lives outside of us. There's no reality outside of our thinking. And claims Rabbeinu Zal, I can't think two things simultaneously, which means I'm only one hero, one machshava away from teshuvah, which takes 1 second. I'm only one hero away from liberation, from thinking, it's my children who drive me nuts, my teenagers. Anyone here has teenagers? We'll understand why some animals eat their young. It's pure humor, no reflection on reality whatsoever. So here I am, can't take these kids anymore. And it's the children who are hurting me. And yet in reality, it's me who's telling myself. And I'm only one machshava away from being done l'chav zchus. How do I know if I was raised the way my kids are being raised today, that they would still be, I would have stayed from? How do I know? How do I know if I would be strong in Yiddishkeit, if I was being torn, my mind is being almost kidnapped daily, bombarded by hundreds, if not thousands, of pop-ups, and there's so many distractions to steal my mind, kidnap my mind. How do I know that I would do better than my own kid? Is there room for me to be done l'chav zchus? Comes along Rabbeinu Zal and tells me I'm one thought away from changing my mind about my child. So I can spend my life of blaming my parents and my mother-in-law. Sorry, just swallowing. Oh, Chaim, I've got a good. You told that story about the gentleman saying that you got perfect vision in the mirror. So I think it may have been the same husband came home one night, and his wife was really into painting, and he sees a new painting on the wall and says, "I don't believe it! Another one of your ugly abstract paintings!" And she said, "No, darling, that's a mirror." Kala Paisel b'mumai Paisel. Comes along Rabbeinu Zal and wants me to know, Ikra Simcha believe. The main happiness does not exist anywhere else outside of my mind. Rabbeinu Zal says, B'chol levavcha shnei yitzarecha. It's a famous Torah mem test. Shnei yitzarecha hayetzer tov hayetzer ra. Hem hamachshavas tovas. My yetzer tov are my machshavas tovas. The Yetzer Hara is the Machshavas Rois. And that's the taich in B'chol Levavcha. The word leiv means mind. Ikar Simcha B'leiv. He says it many times. K'moshe Kasuv, because David HaMelech, who only wrote reality, made the claim, Natata. It's a lashon of Ava. It happened already. You've already gifted. You've already given. Natata Simcha V'libi. You've already given me reason to be happy. And now we can understand someone of the stature of David HaMelech, whose parents, father, brothers, thought maybe he's a mamzer, Rahman al-Islam. Wasn't even called up to the lineup when Shmuel Navi told Yishai, bring me all your sons. He didn't even call David. David HaMelech suffered with Achitophel. Doeg. How about Nachas from the Kinderlach? Avshalom tried to usurp his authority and rebelled against him. Adoniah at the end of his life did the same. He lost Amnon, he lost 4 children in his lifetime. And David HaMelech bounced back each time. How do you do that? Aren't you in denial of all that you've suffered? And David HaMelech's answer is no, because reality takes place not at what is around me and what happens to me. Reality takes place over here. And so he was capable of saying, the reasons for me to be Basimcha already exist because Nasata, you already gave me. You, yes you, won the mega lottery before you were born. 1 drop of Zera contains millions of and only one will fertilize, and you won the first lottery. You won the second lottery, just being born. Born Jewish? Oh my gosh! Out of 7 billion people in the world, you're born Jewish, or you converted, you're Baal Teshuvah, you've won another lottery. You're from? Oh my gosh, another lottery. But arguably, the greatest lottery you could possibly win. Oh my gosh, not only do you have emunah in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, you have emunah in his tzaddikim, tzaddikei emes, OMG. Before you write out that second check, you're already pulled out of Gehenna. When? Well, oh my gosh, this is what you're celebrating. A tzaddik emes that was sharing everything we need till Mashiach comes, that will enable us to get through the stuff that our eyes and our ears and our mind sees, but what's real is not Olam HaSheker. Chazal have not one kind description for this world. It's called Olam HaSheker. It's not real. Or Olam HaDimyan. You and I literally live inside a divine illusion. We're living inside a Kadosh Baruch Hu's dream. It's so brilliant. Olam Haza is so brilliantly designed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls himself Tzur. Tzur Tamim. He's a perfect rock, totally trustworthy. Comes along Chazal, Al Tikrat Tzur. Don't read the word Tzur, Ela Tzayer. He's a brilliant, perfect painter. Ladies and gentlemen, what distinguishes one good painter from a better painter? You might argue, well, the best painter is the one who depicts the picture in such a way that it looks absolutely real. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're the most brilliant sire. You created a three-dimensional world, a life of cause and effect, where it appears so real that the only moments that really count in our lives is when we get beyond the accusing and the blaming and the complaining and the denying and the excusing and recognize, Rabbeinu Shalom, you're inside of me. You gave me Nasata Simcha Velipi. You've already given me reasons to be happy. Rabbeinu Zal would say again and again, if it's enough just to say Shalom Asani Goy, thank you, I'm born Jewish. Oh my gosh. You mean the smallest item is already enough for me to be B'Simcha? And here's where I close. Mitzvah G'dayla Liyos B'Simcha, Tamid, you gotta be joking. Tamid? Tamid has two meanings in Chazal. In Lashon HaKodesh, it either means consistent, as the Korban Tamid was brought consistently, every morning, every afternoon. It can also mean constant, like the Lechem Apanim had to be Lefanai Tamid. There was no moment where the shulchan could be empty. The new 12 loaves were placed as the previous weeks were removed. But the table was never left empty. That was constant. Which one does Rabbeinu Zal mean? I'm assuming it means both. That until a person gets to constant, it's consistent. What's the consistency? A person can be going through Gehenna on earth. A person could have cancer of the tongue and be in excruciating pain and still say, don't think that because of my screams from pain that I'm not B'Simcha. It just doesn't change the facts. Reality is, where's my mind? Reality is, am I paying attention to the good in my wife, in my life, in my spouse, in my house, in my health, in my wealth? I'm a poet and I know it. Am I paying attention to your reality? Because you, Rabbeinu Shalom, call this world Olam HaDimyon, Olam HaSheker. You call it Olam HaChoshech. You call it Olam HaFuch. Because it's Olam HaFuch, what I see, I think is real, but in fact, what I don't see is your 1 second of teshuvah that gains you Gan Eden, and I don't see that. So I'm so stuck with regrets and anger and bitterness against people, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to know, V'ahavta recha kamocha comes immediately after, in the same pasuk, Lo tikaim v'lo titor. 2 massive averas, revenge and holding a grudge. Both of them take place where? In my mind. Oh, hating you, lo tisna ta'achicha, that's 1 pasuk before, and bearing a grudge and holding negative memories of things you've done or said against me, it's all in the same pasuk, and they take place over here in my thoughts. And Kadosh Baruch Hu, in the same pasuk, tells me, love everybody like I love myself. Rabbeinu Shalom, could you put the first Loitikam Lito somewhere at the beginning of Bereshis, put after Recha Kamecha somewhere near the end of Dvarim? Give me time to recover. How do you put love your neighbors yourself in the same pasuk as don't take revenge and don't have ill feelings? Don't even hate your brother. That's in the previous one. Rabbeinu Shalom, how do you do that? And the answer is, if I'm going to get stuck with what people do and say and think, and then I think, oh my gosh, I'm going to need years of analyzing this and getting out of it. And Rabbeinu Zal says, no, it's a thought. And Hashem says, 1 thought later, V'ahavta recha kamocha, I'm capable of switching my mind. I close, and I mean it. Avram Avinu, you and I have his DNA. He went through the worst imaginable nisyonos. He was asked to take his own son. How do you do that for 3 days? He's walking for 3 days. How do you do that without going through your mind? Rabbeinu Shalom, why are you doing this to me? I can't believe after after 100 years waiting for this child and being promised a nation through this child from Sarah Menu, and now you're telling me, and you and I might imagine that's all going through his mind, and yet Chazal revealed to us, how was he oimed in such a nisayon? And you look at Rashi on that Mishnah, Perek Hey Mishnah Chaf base in Pirkei Avos, how did he hold out to that? And the answer is very simply, Shalohiher, he didn't think. Al Achrei Midoisav, any thought that would rent his mind about how could you do this to me, Rabbi Shalom, he simply went to the next thought, ignored it. Because the power of thought is everything. Teshuvah is a thought. And that's how he was able to be omed in every single one of his nisyonos. Avas Hashem, says Rashi, me'roiv avasai. He loved Hashem so much, he was able to do what he was told without thinking about it, about thinking after it. In the schus of knowing that Rav Nachman of Breslov promised that he would be victorious, and already is, and us seeing tonight, this is just a full house of those who were able to come. We're not even counting all those who... Breslov is reality thinking. Breslov is a Yerusha to Klal Yisrael. It's not a Hasidus in the conventional sense. It's what Mashiach will be revealing to us. The koyach of Tefillah, the koyach of Tamimus, the koyach of Chizhaskus, the koyach of Hispaitidus, the koyach of Nekudos Taivas, the koyach of not ever giving up, because we are always only one thought away from changing our mind. In the schus of knowing that that is what we're here for, we should be always all zeicha to much simcha in our lives with our children, our grandchildren, and health in our families. Amen.